Hi there, welcome to my channel. Jan here, and as I said yesterday, I made these little bodices. Somebody wanted me to make the little dress to show you how to do it, so that's what I've got featured on this card here. And yesterday I showed you how to make the bodice tops. Really simple. And today, as promised, I'm going to try to show you 2 or 3 different ways to make the little skirt. So yeah, without any further ado, today I'm going to be using for the skirt, I'm going to be using, this is made with 3-inch square paper. Let me just check that I'm actually in the shot. So these bodices are made with a 4-inch square, those two, and this I've made with a 3-inch square using just copy paper. It's not anything thicker than, you know, really thin copy paper that I've just printed a little pattern on. And as you can see, there's a huge made up difference. Let's move this one out of the way for the moment. There's a huge made up difference between using 4-inch paper and 3-inch square paper. It's really noticeable difference, but the 3-inch size like that will fit on these little tiny, you know, these 5.5 by 4.25 inch cards if you want to make it to put on a card. If you want it to just be bigger, then, you know, and put it on a bigger card, 6 by 6 or something, then you can use the 4-inch square. Or you can just use it as a bodice on its own if you want to put that on a card. Right, okay, so what I'm going to show you how to do is 3 different types. I'm going to show you how to do this one first, which is quite a little shabby one, like a bit of shabby chic on here. And the first thing I'm going to show you, I hope you can take some screenshots of it. I will try to put it in the comments, and I'll try to include a photo of it, but it's really difficult to describe it, but I'll do my best, okay? So let me move this one right over out of the way for the moment. And for the 3-inch bodice, the one that fits on the card, this is the template, and I always make up a template of the skirt base. This is what you need, okay? So this started off as this, and you need this to be able to get this. And this is actually the skirt bodice for the 4-inch one, 4.5, the 4-inch square one, but you cut it down in a particular way to get the one for the 3-inch one. So the one for the 4-inch one is, let me see if I've written it down anywhere. No, I haven't, so I'm going to go through it with you, but I will try and put it in the comments as well. So basically what you need for either of the skirts is, well, for any of the skirts actually, is a triangle of relatively firm paper, a thin card, a very thin card. And you need to make the triangle. Now I always put sort of dotted lines down the middles to remind me where the centers are and things. Now this is 4.5, just under 4.5, but yeah, 4.5 straight down. So you want a piece of card that you cut to 4.5 inches by 3.5. So a rectangle which is 3.5 by 4.5. The sides are 4.5. Mark the center. Okay, that's quite important. And then for the larger skirt, you just draw a line or cut a line from the center all the way down to the corner. Okay, and you cut off these 2 pieces of card which would fit in here, which I don't have. I've thrown them away. And then about is this about 1 inch, I think, or maybe a little bit less? No, it's 1 inch. About 1 inch down, you might want to mark it or put a fold or something. I've put a fold there, but it's it's not important. You just need to mark it. Now remember that this is going to be your template, okay? So these sides, this bottom here is, what did I say, 3.5. So across the bottom is 3.5 inches, and this straight up the center is 4.5 inches. Okay, so it's straight up the center. Now this here, this piece here is 1 inch, 1 inch straight up from there to there, and you just mark it across. That means that the sides themselves will be 4 3/4, because they're always longer than straight up the center. So these are 4 3/4. Okay, so I hope that's clear, like that. So on the main piece, you're going to cut a piece that looks like that. Right, so for the smaller skirt, you're going to start off with a piece that looks like that size and shape. So I'll do it on the other side so it's not too confusing. But then you need to change the dimensions. So you have drawn a line up the center. You've put a dotted line. Don't forget this is your template, and you can make hundreds of these dresses if you want to afterwards. You put a line up the center, which you know is 4.5 because we measured it for the larger one. But this one here, you want to stop it at 3.5. Okay, 3.5 inches. Now we know that that's an inch, so you basically want to stop it here. Yeah. Then you want to make this across here 1/2 inch. So if you measure either side of the line 1/4 inch, and you make this 1/2 inch like that, and then from there you measure up these side lines of 1 7/8 inch. Yeah, hope that makes sense. 1 7/8 and 1 7/8, 1 7/8, and then from this line at 1 7/8 you join onto your 1/2 inch at the top. So instead of, so the bottom part here follows this same shape and size and everything else. Let me draw sort of a line across there to help you understand it a bit better. I'll show you I'll show you it by putting the other one up against it in the middle in a minute. This here is 1 7/8, 1 7/8, and you put this line here, okay, on both sides, 1 7/8. Right, from that line you're going to mark across this bit here 1/2 inch, so that's 1/4 inch that side and 1/4 inch that side, because this is your center line. So you're going to mark your 1/2 inch, which is there and there, and you're going to use your ruler and you're going to join up that point with this point, the 1 7/8 point, this one here. Okay, so it gives it not quite a triangle shape, it kind of shaves off the top of it. So you're going to do it like that and put your ruler here. I hope it's not too difficult for you to understand. There, any questions, pop them in the comments and I'll answer them. And this part here, for the smaller one only, you're going to cut away. So you haven't got quite a straight line from here to here, but you have got a straight line from here to here, and then a straight line from here to here, but there is actually a bend in the middle of it. So this is the size that you will end up with. Okay, it should look like that. So you start with the big triangle and you end up with this. The reason I put 4.5 on there is because that was the original length. That was 4.5, but we've cut this part away. Okay? So hopefully that will make sense to you. I mean, you don't have to. You can, if you want to make it easier. The skirt won't be so full. Is just mark your 1/2 inch and just draw a straight line. It won't be so full and shapely like that. And I'm going to show you one a bit later on that we don't want it to be full and shapely like that. But anyway, so this is the size, the template. Now, for all you need to do now is just draw around it multiple times, cut them out, and you have lots and lots of these skirt templates. So I'm going to move that away. Now, I'm saying if you don't understand that or if you've got any questions, please do ask me. And I'm going to show you, right, this is where I've got to with the one that I'm making at the moment. So I like to start off with my basic piece of card that's cut out, and I use all sorts of bits of paper, just rip it up. I use a glue stick and just collage stick it all over the back. It doesn't matter if you've got little tiny gaps, don't overlap it too much. Yeah, don't make it too sort of thick and everything. And you definitely, you definitely don't have to be precise about it. It's just that if gaps appear in what you stick down, it will still have a backing as opposed to white, and that's important if you're going to do a dark color or something like that. So I use just plain ordinary dictionary book paper. It's because it's really thin, you can just rip it in little pieces and just stick them on and cover it, and any that hang over the edge you just trim it off all the way around. So that's your base that you start with, or what I start with. You might want to start with a coloured piece of copy paper, or you might like it white. I mean, if you're making it as a wedding dress or something, white might be very useful. Right, okay, so I've started this one here so that it doesn't take too tremendously long. And what I've done here is I've got a piece of lace, and I've used my 3-in-1 glue, and to the back of it I have drawn a line of glue, and I've just scrunched up a little bit of odd lace that I have in my little spares tin, and let it hang down underneath by about, I don't know, somewhere around about 1/2 inch, something like that. Then to make the bottom of the skirt, basically I've got several little bits of paper, the same weight of copy paper. Let's move that out of the way. And I've scored them all at 1/4 inch, and I've concertina folded them, and it's just simply because it's easier to do like that in smaller pieces. But if you've got a long piece and you can do it in one piece, that's fine. So this is how to do it with paper. If you've got material that you want to gather up and just stick on here, that's absolutely fine. But the way that I find this easiest to stick down to here is by putting double-sided tape. So I undo a little bit of the tape at a time. I've already got the double-sided tape sticking down, and I just stick this, let's see if this is relatively the right way up. Yeah, just like reinforce concertina fold it, and basically I'm just going to stick it down where it touches. So this will probably now take me pretty much to the end, maybe not quite, but anyway, so I'm going to put that there like that, just almost, well, pretty much level with the bottom of the skirt pattern. Yeah, pretty much level with the bottom of the skirt so that the lace hangs below it. And when I have got this far with it, I kind of just press it down to adhere it, and then basically just I put a ruler on it or something like that, just put it on the top and just basically squash it down. You can do it with your fingers. Obviously I've got a problem with my hands, but you know, you do it however you want to do it. So you just basically squash it down. Doesn't matter if the pleats are uneven or anything like that, it just adds to the charm of the piece. You see my pleats are all over the place in some places, but that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem with this. I'm going to bring this piece over a bit because I'm actually going to tuck it behind and stick it down so that you get a nice even edge like that one is. Okay, so it's just kind of shabby, really, shabby and shabby chic, which is exactly what it is. So the pleats, which I did an inch, I cut a piece of paper about an inch wide, and then I concertina folded it all up in the middle. Okay, that one there is a bit of a bother, so I'm just going to fold it back on itself. It really isn't precise at all. You can just do it anyhow, any way that you want it to be, because it's going to be like the underskirt. So I'm just going to stick that little piece down there because that's kind of annoying me. So I've just bent it back on itself, and I'm just going to stick it down there, and that's absolutely fine by me. Right, so that's all flattened down. Now the next thing that I do is I get a whole lot of the paper that I want to use, and you know, it can be any sort of toning paper that you want. I've got a mixture of different scraps and bits and pieces, and as you can see, and I cut them as 1 inch squares. Now I've got a punch, 1 inch square punch, but if you haven't, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry, just cut them as 1 inch squares. Okay, and all you do with these is you wrap them round a pen or something like that. Let me show you using this pen. You wrap them round diagonally like that, and while they're there, you just stick the 2 corners together so you've got that shape. Okay, and you stick the 2 corners together, and when you take it off of the pen or whatever you've got that you want to wind it round, I just squash them flat. And again, it really doesn't matter if they're exactly in the middle, as you can see with mine. Some are, some aren't. It really doesn't matter, because the whole idea of this is that it looks like you know, this shabby look. So I'm just going to level a couple of these up, and if you do a whole bunch of these, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 probably. Should do the whole dress. Sorry, that's my dog barking. Sorry. Hold on. Minty, Milo, stop it. Minty and Milo, stop it. Right, okay, so, and then I've also done a few in those book pages because I quite like them intermingled with the book page. You can see that I've done it on here as well. So just the odd 1 or 2 pushed in, looks just really nice. I've actually used a bit of a doily on this one, which I haven't got today. I haven't got any, but you can use pretty much anything you want, scraps of the paper, anything like that, and you can stick them down any way you want as well. You can have some like that way round if you want to, so it shows the white, or you can have them all that way round so you don't see any of the white. And basically you just stick these so that the bottom of them covers the top row of this. So I'm just going to do that with these ones that I've got here. How have you been getting on with the bodice? Have you tried it yet? And you know, what did you think of it? I would appreciate any sort of feedback you've got, if you found it easy or difficult, or if you see you can overlap them a bit as well. So I'm just going to, yeah, just pop them anyhow, and this makes that sort of shabby chic look. Yeah, so how have you managed with it? Have you done it? Does it appeal to you? Do you like it? Do you not like it? That's a laugh, isn't it? And then you just press these down as you go. Let's put this one in. It's pretty. So they're all kind of wonky. They're not exactly shaped, but I just put a bit of glue in that point. And I'm just going to pop it down. I'll overlap some just to keep the shape. I'll keep some flat, and I might probably put a bit of glue underneath each of these bits as well. Okay. So yeah, sorry, you're likely to hear my dog's having a bit of a bark up because it's just about time for the children to be coming out of school, and for some reason my dogs find that very difficult to deal with. Right, so I'm going to pop that down there, and then under each of these ones I'll probably just put a little dab of glue under each one and just hold them down just so that they stick down a bit better. It's nice to have them. The reason I do them as a sort of a shape like this is because it's nice for the dimension, but it's also they are a bit wayward sometimes. Right, so I'm going to pop this one here, this one here, and this one here. And as you can see, I've overlapped the tops of some. I've put some, you know, straight flat down like that. Actually, that one's not very level at all, is it? Let's see if we can still take this one off, which we can, and put that bit further down. That's better. So let me just, it's taken a bit of the backing with it, but that's not a problem. It's all shabby chic. So as you can see, I've allowed them to overlap the sides just because it gives an extra layer. Let's look back at this. It just gives an extra layer of interest. Yeah. And when this is all dry and it's all finished, you can go back over it with like a little, with the same pen or something, and just kind of lift them, because the bit that you're gluing is the inside of the back of them. So you can just lift them a bit if you want to give them a bit more dimension. Now, I'm at arm's length as I was yesterday. Let's see if I'm in the thingy. Yep, I am. So it's a bit more difficult for me to do, but try to keep them sort of as straight as you can. And to be honest with you, every now and again, I do have a little measure up. So this side, if I want to cover the tops of these, which I do, this side is 2 inches. I mean, it can be anything in yours. You can do these any way you want. So that's 2 inches. Let me measure down the same on this side, 2 inches, which is a bit higher. That's about there. So, and then I'm kind of just going to try and join them up a little bit. And basically, when I stick the next layer down, I want it to come to about here, so it's not completely all you know, sort of higgledy-piggledy. Now, if I've got enough, what I might do is add another layer of this, which I think I have. Yeah. Right, so that looks quite nice. But first of all, I want to put down another piece of lace, I think. So I want that to cover that, and I'm just going to sort of wrinkle it up a bit as I go. So I'm going to put some glue down. Anybody who likes this kind of paper crafting work, you're going to enjoy this. If you don't, I don't think I'd even attempt it, because it does take a bit of doing, you know. It's a project really, but if you're sitting down and you've got some cut out, you can do, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 in one go, and then you've got them, which is the whole idea of my embellishment series, is that you make enough, you mass make, and then you've got sort of a drawer full of them. Right, the only trouble with this 3-in-1 glue is it carries on spurting out. This is just an oddment of lace that I've got, so I'm going to bring that down to about there. Stick the other side down as well to about there. and then just basically, whoops, move that out of the way. Basically, I'm just going to wrinkle it up by finding the middle, getting a little bit wrinkled there, a little bit there, like that. Just enough to give it a little bit of a pleat in it, just for a bit of interest. Yuck, covered in glue. So yeah, just sort of push it down in various places. I wouldn't be without my little pointy tweezers. They're so, I find them so useful. Okay, so once we've got through this one, you'll know, you'll be aware of the principle of how to do it. That's got to come down, that's got to come down. That's a good thing about this sort of 3-in-1 glue. It's thick enough to hold the thing as you're doing it, but you've still got a lot of wiggle room. Okay, so that's probably good enough, like that. Let me have a little look. Yep, it's not particularly even, but it doesn't matter too much. All adds to the look. Right, and then I'm going to do exactly the same thing with this piece that I did with the bottom, and that is I'm just going to line it up here. I'm going to decide that this is, since this is 1 inch thick, round about here, I'm going to put a piece of that tape. So in an effort to try and keep this straight, let's see where that comes to. That is 1 1/4 inches, so let's measure 1 1/4 inches the other side. I mean, you don't have to, you can just sort of you know, if you trust your eye and you prefer to go by eye, then, you know, by all means do so. It's, you know, it's entirely up to you. So that should be 1 1/4 inches, which it isn't. There's the 1 1/4 inches there. I thought it didn't look right. And there's the 1 1/4 inches there. I'm just going to bring that round just so that it matches up. Doesn't look very straight. Doesn't look very straight at all, but that is definitely 1 1/4 inches, as is that. That is actually straight. Doesn't look it, does it? Really doesn't. I'll probably bring this up a bit. I mean, it's a bit of eye and a bit of measuring. Okay, put the pin back in here before it dries out completely. And I'm going to put a bit of tape across. I'm using this one. I probably would use my 1/2 inch one, but can't find it at the moment, so this one is fine. Just going to put a piece of this across like that. Trim the sides. In fact, I'm going to trim it off level because I don't need it to go round the back. It'll just be a nuisance if it goes round the back. So I'm going to trim it off level like that. And because this is only a short piece, and I'm only going to use 1 piece of this paper here, which is just an offcut. And it's, let's have a look, see how big it was. It is 5 inches, and I scored it every 1/4 inch, and then just concertinaed it up like that. Yeah, okay. Pinch it together at the top. So I'm going to take off this. Make sure I'm in the frame in a minute. Make sure I'm in the frame. Yep, I am. That's good. And I'm just going to do exactly the same as I did before. I've got 2 folds here at the end that go down, so I'm going to tuck them underneath and glue them down at the back, but the rest of it is going on here. So I'm just going to put that on there, leave a bit of the lace showing, get it into a position that I like it in. Hands are very shaky today, I'm afraid. Goodness knows why. I'm just going to push it down like that. Let's see if that's pretty much straight. Pretty much. It's good enough anyway. Let's move it down a little bit here. Just down there a little bit like that. I mean, you might well know of another way of doing this, but you know, just do it the best you can really. I'm going to bring that in a bit so that that tucks around there. So I've got just a little bit of lace showing underneath. I'm just going to tuck that around the corner so it's a bit tidier, like that, and then like I did before, basically I'm just going to squash the top down, get some of these pleats out the way as I'm doing it. This one doesn't want to get out of the way. Yeah, so sorry about my shaky hands today. Goodness knows why they're like it. Just different days. Okay, and press that down all the way along. It's just really relaxed and simple and, you know, very easy to do. And that's one good thing about the shabby chic look, is it doesn't have to be too exact or anything. Says she. There we go. There we go. Okay. Right, now just to make things an absolute joy, we've got the dustman outside. Right, so that takes me up to there, and I'm now going to put another layer of these bits on. Like that, and or maybe I'll do them with newspaper. Yeah, I might just kind of mix them together. Right, if you want to make them smaller, you can just kind of fold them in a bit more at the top, but it's not worth it. It's entirely up to you. You'll get a feel for it as you're doing it. But anyway, I'm going to stick these down in the next layer, like that. Just overlap them a bit. I like it sticking out the side of the skirt to give it a bit more shape. So if I line the first one up with the edge here, like that. Here's another blue one, lovely blue one. Plenty of glue. Stick that down on the other outside edge because I don't know how much of this I've got. As I say, I think I made about 10 of these. So I'm just going to put that there, like that. I'll put another one in the middle. Sorry about the noise. Normally they come along at 9 o'clock at night, but today, because I'm filming, they've decided to come at this time. Okay, so I'm going to have that like that. And then I've got 2 more here that I can either stick on top like that, or I could do them with the newspaper, which I think I'll do. I just think that it gives it another sort of dimension, makes it look really nice, a bit unusual. And then after this, when we come to decorate it, it's just about letting yourself go and, deciding what you like, what bits and pieces you've got, what scraps you've got, and what you want to do with it. As you can see on this one here, I just went random with bits of lace and bits of tulle, some ribbon, some little flowers, more lace down here. So you can do anything you want with it, but this is the basis of the skirt. Okay, this one here I've obviously folded over a bit more at the top, just randomly. I'm going to pop that in there, hold that down, press that down a bit like that. Right, now I'm not going to need those. I may use a couple of these to just pop up under the lace or pop in here just to give it a little bit more of an edge. So that's quite nice. I might just put some glue on the top of that. Anything that's a bit random, you know, goes when it comes to shabby chic. So I'm going to pop that up inside there, just simply because I like the look of it. I'm going to try another one over this side. It doesn't have to be level, it doesn't have to balance. You just put it wherever you like it, wherever the fancy strikes you. Pop them in and see what you get, really. Hold on, let's lift that up so it's got a bit stuck. Pop that up under there. Just kind of shove it up there like that. Push it down. Okay, so I think that will do me for the moment, and then all you have to do is keep on measuring it. Get your bodice, so you make your bodice first, and you just keep on measuring it so that you push the bodice onto the top of the skirt and see where it comes to, and if it will go in. So that goes in, but I need to bend these two edge pieces round. And again, with the addition of some bits of ribbon and that, I just think that looks really pretty. So I'm going to pop a bit of glue on here, on this one here, and just bend it round to the shape of the top of the skirt, just the top of it, not the bottom. There we go, sorry, keep coming out of shot. Hold it there for a moment. I'm going to do the same with this piece over here. There's the edge of that pleated bit, and there's the edge of that skirt. So I'm going to hold that down, and hold that down. So that gives a nice neat finish to the top. It's not too bulgy and sticking out. Then that will go on the top there, like that. Already it's looking really pretty, isn't it? And then just to finish it off, I'm going to put some like random bits of ribbon and lace and things like that. So I've got this one, which I think is quite countrified and quite pretty. So like a gingham ribbon. And I'm just going to cut off some few lengths of this. You tend to do things in odd numbers. So if I do it in 1, 2, and 3 here, like this, like that. Like I say, it really doesn't matter, honestly, it really doesn't matter. And actually, what I was going to say to you, let's move this one out of the way for the moment. What I was going to say is that whenever I make anything that uses ribbons, lace, or anything like that, material or wool or anything of any sort, I have a tub here, which I hope you can see. Let's have a look. Can you see it? Yeah. And in here goes all my scraps, and it doesn't matter what size they are, like little tiny bits like that, because I might cut off a piece like that and put it under the middle of the skirt. In fact, now I come to mention it, that actually looks quite nice. So I'm just going to cut that off. And that was completely random. Who'd have believed it? That was completely random, and it happened to be right at the top of that tub as well. Right, okay, so I'm going to give it a little trim up, make sure it's tidy. But yeah, I might cut some of these pieces out, or, you know, a piece like that. I've got all sorts. I've got like rick-rack, braid, and this is exactly the time when it's going to come in really useful, because, I mean, I keep really tiny bits, like these bits that you think wouldn't be any use for anything. I've got bits like, hang on, let me show you a couple of these bits. I've got bits like this, little tassely bits, which come in perfectly handy for boho stuff. So anyway, I digress. Let me get some of these popped on here. Sorry, it's the dog again. So I'm just going to let them dangle a bit. I'm going to pop that up under the bodice line, which is up there, and I am just going to stick it down with my 3-in-1 glue. Just put a little blob at the top of the ribbon. I think it's having a sulk because I put the lid on. There we go. Right, and I'm just going to stick that down. So I'll put it up there somewhere maybe. Just let it hang down. Probably because I'll put a bow or a bead or something like that on the bottom of it. I've got another piece here that's decided to stick to me. So I might pop that in underneath there, let that hang down a bit. A little bit of glue. Just pop it under the layers. Like I say, if I had some doily or something like that, I would put it there. I'll put some of that underneath. If I've got any more lace or anything. That piece of blue there, that might look nice on the side or in the middle. Don't think I need it. So much for my doing things in threes. There's a nice little bit of pink, and there's pink in that, so I could actually use that because that's quite pretty. Just chop a lump off the top. That much, just randomly. That's going back in my tin. Bit of glue. Gunky stuff. Probably put that underneath there. Just having them hanging down all different sort of angles, you know, all different lengths and sizes. That's quite pretty. I do quite like that one. So maybe I'll put that on the edge. Something like that. We'll see. Right, okay. Lid on again for that little devil. So now I'm going to work out where this needs to go. So let me slip the bodice on again. And that piece of lace needs to go sort of about there really, just so that the bodice covers it. So I'm just going to pop that there. Like I say, it's all very easy, very relaxed, very random. Oops, glue. A little bit of glue under there, about there. You know, and if it doesn't work out, well, we'll put some more bits on it until it does work out. Okay, so that's going to go about there. There we go, that's sort of in the middle, about there. And I think all I need now is some little random bows and some flowers, or maybe some gems. This little gem on here, this beautiful little heart-shaped gem, is one of the items that came in the little box that Ingrid sent me, which I'm still sort of unpacking and trying to get my head round. It's just so amazing. So yeah, I mean, little bows, pop them on anywhere. You're probably screaming at me, no, don't put it there, put it over there. Hold on, come on out, glue, a little bit of glue. Put that down on the end of that ribbon. And I will get another one. Quite like this cream colour, it kind of goes with everything. This was some of those, you know, hundreds and hundreds of bows that I made. and they're going to last me, because if there's one thing that I find really difficult, it's tying bows, especially on camera. Which side did I put the glue? That side. So that one can go up there somewhere. You could put little butterflies on them. Let's see if I've got some more of these. Yeah, I have. I've got some more beautiful pearls, all in different sizes, that she sent me. So maybe let's have another heart that matches the one at the top. I think I'll have a medium-sized heart this time instead of a small one. Pop that on there. It sits on the ribbon quite nicely. I'll trim this piece of ribbon a little bit shorter. Not very good scissors, because I do abuse them, unfortunately. And now all that needs to be done is to put some glue. Again, I'm going to use this 3-in-1 just because it sets up quicker. But you put some glue on the top of your skirt that you've made. And this top piece here fits up inside the bodice and holds it in place. So I'm just going to slip. So you've got this back gap of the bodice, and I'm going to push it up there until I get the bodice in the place that I want it to be, which is about there. And there we go. I'm quite pleased with that. I quite like it. It could maybe do with a little something on the waistline. You can always stick any loose pieces down if you don't like them flapping about. Like you can you can stick that bit down to there, and that bit down to there. And you'll notice on this one, there we go, you'll notice on this one that I've folded the top up. I don't know if you can remember, I told you in the last video that you can either, let's put the glue that on there, you can either leave the flaps down like this one, and it gives a sort of a bra shape, to which you might want to put a bit of lace or something underneath that, which I haven't got to hand, so I can't show you. But anyway, so that's, you know, you can have it with a bit of lace around it, or you can flap it up and stick it together, which is what I've done here. But what I did, I also made out of some matching paper 2 very thin strips, not even 1/8 of an inch wide, and probably about 1 inch long, folded them in half and glued them together, and I've stuck them on the back. So this one here has got shoulder straps. Okay, right, there's a little loose bit, so I'm going to stick that down as well. Basically, you kind of just bend it all to shape how you want it. A little bit of glue under that one there. And I think I will put some glue under this and stick this bodice back down in place. So I'm just going to put a peg on there, excuse me, leaning over until that sets up. But yeah, cute little shabby chic skirt to go with one of those bodice tops. Very similar to this one. This one here, I've put little flowers on as well. I've put some glitter on. Actually, that's what I'm missing, isn't it? I haven't got any stickles on it. Let's try this one. Excuse me, leaning over all the time. So yeah, a little bit of stickles just to put around the top. Just a narrow little line. Gives it a little bit of a zizz. Maybe some around the bodice at the bottom. Like on this one, I put pearls around it, but you can just pop it on various different places just to give it a little bit of shine as it catches the light. Highlights things a bit. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. You just, these sorts of things, the reason why I like them is because you just have fun, just do what you like. and see how it turns out. There is no right, there is no wrong. You just do what you want, really. Just put another bit on this one here. There we go. Maybe a little bit on the bottoms of this here, this lace here. I think that went just well, don't you? Does look a little bit like an apron, but hey ho. A couple of little dots of it on here. When it dries out, it'll look beautiful. Yeah, perfect. Put it away, Jan, before you overdo it, as usual, because I do like to have a bit of a fiddle. Okay, so that's the first one. That's the shabby chic style, which is really pretty. Right, okay. Now the next ones I'm going to be working on are the 4-inch size bodices, but you can just cut it down to fit the same size as this one is if you want to. Let me put this out of the way to dry. So let's go back to this one. Let's stay with this one because this is a bit of a shabby chic one as well. Now what I did here, I'm not going to go through it and make it and show you, but what I did here, I found some material that I had that was pleated up, and I've just stuck that on at the back like that. That's where I overlapped the newspaper, the newsprint here, and then basically I just randomly stuck strips of coloured of paper. Each one of these is just stuck at the top of it. Don't know if you can see. Let's move some of these out of the way. So yeah, this piece, I started at the bottom. I just put some random strips of paper up to here, stuck it down, and then the next time I put another strip randomly over the top of it, overlapped it, and then I did another strip and overlapped it, and I kept on building it up all the way up. You see, here's one that you can sort of, I can get my finger underneath kind of thing, because they're loose. And then I added, so like that, then I added little random pieces of lace like that, tucked it in and glued it down. And you know, all of these, this is a piece of the newspaper sticking out because I didn't take this piece of paper here right to the edge. I just left it sticking out like that. It all adds kind of character to it. There's another piece of paper there, and I just did it. I didn't cut them to any particular size. I just randomly chopped up bits of paper. So it's basically the same as this in principle, but where I've put these in a point, these ones are just random pieces of paper. Yeah, and then I overlapped it. I didn't put the lace across it. What I did was I ran some lace up this way. I've added odd bits of lace. I've added tassels, some little bows, some little flowers, just everything, anything and everything. If you like it, just put it on and put it on randomly. Some cases I've put the tassels so that they overlap the edge of the paper and sort of hold it down, and in other places I haven't. Some of them are just loose and they just move about, so there's plenty of movement with it. Okay, so that's that one. And as you can see, the skirt is bigger. It's the original size that I told you, the 4.5 or whatever it was, and I'm going to show you again how to do that. Then you just carry on up until you can fit the bodice on. Then you put the bodice on, stick it down, and there you go. There's another version of shabby chic, but that's not, this one's a bit more structured. This one's a bit like really loose and edgy and, you know, modern sort of thing. So I'm going to stick that bodice onto there. So that's number 2, and it's the bigger size, so it will fit on the bigger card or whatever you're going to do with it. Right, now the third version I'm going to show you is